Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so excited to guide you through this explainer on Unit 2. Look, if you're a 7th grader and you've got your notebook open right now, you are in the exact right place. Today we're taking the St. Paul Middle School curriculum framework and translating it into crystal clear, actionable guided notes. We have got a ton of crucial history to unpack today, so let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why do people rebel? It's the first half of our central question for the entire unit, and I want you to really genuinely think about it for a second. What actually pushes everyday people to risk absolutely everything, stand up, and say, "No more, we're breaking away"? It is a massive, life-altering decision. As we fill out our guided notes today, try to keep that human element front and center. We aren't just memorizing a bunch of old dates here. We're analyzing the very roots of human conflict.
To figure that out, here's our roadmap for the explainer and exactly how you'll want to structure your notebooks for the next 4 weeks. We've got 4 parts. 1. Causes, focusing on taxation and representation. 2. The turning point, where we look at the revolution. 3. Consequences, looking at debates and compromises. And 4. A quick guided notes knowledge check.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Causes, Taxation and Representation.
Right. So, to understand the root of this whole conflict, we've got to lock down our vocabulary. First up is taxation. Simply put, taxation is the levying of a tax by a government. It's when a government charges its citizens money to pay for things like, national defense or paying off debts. But here's the catch. In the American colonies, with things like the Stamp Act, actually paying the money wasn't even the biggest problem.
And that brings us right to our second word, representation. This is the action of speaking or acting on behalf of someone. In a government context, it means you have an elected voice, someone who actively argues for your community's interests. So, being heavily taxed by the British government while having absolutely zero representation in Parliament, that was the exact spark that ignited the whole conflict. It's literally where the famous battle cry, "No taxation without representation," comes from.
Which boils over into our next section. Section 2, the turning point, revolution.
Okay, for this part, I want you to actually draw this cause and effect chain right into your notes. Step 1. Issues of taxation and a total lack of representation create intense, boiling anger. That tension leads directly into Step 2, the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence. The break is officially made, which then forces Step 3, drafting the Constitution. Because, the success of the revolution meant they suddenly had to build a brand new government completely from scratch. Hold on, quick misconception alert here. It is so easy to think of the American Revolution as just, epic battles and generals on horseback. But a revolution isn't just about fighting. The fighting's honestly only half the story. The real challenge, the much harder part, is defining rights afterward. The fundamental, messy work of actually governing happens long after the smoke clears.
And that massive challenge leads us into Section 3, Consequences, Debates and Compromises.
As you're jotting this down, I want you to actively compare these two perspectives, debating rights versus debating representation. When the founders met up, they didn't just agree on everything, they had intense, fundamental disagreements. Our pacing guide specifically asks us to evaluate these historical compromises, like the 3/5 compromise. We have to impartially analyze how this new nation approached the institution of slavery, while at the exact same time claiming to fight for liberty. As historians, our job is to look at how these really intense debates shaped the entire constitutional foundation of the country.
So the crucial point is, where do we actually find the hard evidence for all these debates? We look straight at the founding documents, specifically the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. We don't just guess what these historical figures were thinking, we read exactly what they wrote down on paper. Analyzing these primary sources is literally the key to unlocking the reality of those compromises. All right, let's wrap this up with Section 4, the Guided Notes Knowledge Check.
Let's do a really quick rundown of your student outcomes directly from the St. Paul syllabus. Over the next 4 weeks, here's what you must be able to do. Explain revolutionary causes, analyze founding documents, compare constitutional debates, and evaluate compromises and consequences. If your guided notes today captured our key vocabulary and that 3-step cause and effect chain, you are already well on your way to mastering all 4 of those goals.
Finally, I want to leave you with a massive question to chew on, the second half of our essential question. How do societies define rights after a revolution? As we move through Unit 2, I want you to keep asking yourself this. Once the fighting actually stops, who gets included in those newly defined rights, and, just as importantly, who gets left out. Take a quick second to write that provocative question right at the bottom of your notes. Keep it in the back of your mind as you start this unit, and I'll see you all in the next explainer.